Okay, so today we are start a chapter in the solving equations unit. I just want to put this up as a reminder. Please keep of your solving equations notes together. So remember, we've had one-step equations, we've had two-step equations. There's another page in your solving equations notes. So today's title should go at the top is going to be solving equations with simplifying like terms. So we've looked at like terms this year a lot when we were simplifying expressions. So some examples of like terms, just to jog our memory, are things like 3x and 4x. We can add these together to get 7x. Other like terms could be 2y plus, or let's make it 2y minus 1y, and we just get 1y left. So examples of stuff that aren't like terms are things like the number 3 and the variable y. We cannot combine those together to equal 3y. Ah, no, this is sad. Mad. We can only leave this as 3 plus y. 3 plus y just equals 3 plus y. No combining. Okay, so our first example, example 1 here, says negative 5u plus 4 plus 8u equals 43. So what we want to do first is identify our like terms. So we have done that before in the past. We have a negative 5u right here, and we have a positive 8u. So we can combine those. That's the first thing we want to do. Remember, this is solving equations with simplifying like terms. So combining these, negative 5 plus a positive 8 is going to give us 3u. We can't combine that with 4, so we just plus 4, and that still equals 43. So now we have a two-step equation. Remember, we want to plus and minus first on these two-step equations. So let's minus 4 from both sides. And we get, remember this cancels, we get 3u equals 43 minus 4 is going to give us 39. 3u equals 39. We divide each of these by 3. We get u equals 13. So just to clarify, you are combining like terms. Then you have a two-step equation right here. You plus or minus first, then you multiply or divide. So let's try example 2. Okay, example 2 here. Now I know example 2 has fractions, so a lot of you are probably a little freaked out right now, but these are easy fractions. Why are they easy? Because they have common denominators of 5, so we don't have to change anything. Just because they're connected to a variable doesn't make them any different. So we have a negative 3/5 b plus 7 plus 2/5 b equals 19. So let's do our like terms, just how we did in our last one. Our first like term is negative 3/5 b. Our second like term is positive 2/5 b. Now let's add these together. Well, negative 3 plus a positive 2 is going to give us a negative 1, right? Negative 3 plus 2 is 1. Now with fractions, we just leave the denominator alone. We don't add 5 and 5 to get 10 or subtract them. So we have a negative 1/5, and we're missing our variable, which is b. Remember, that makes them like terms because that b is connected with multiplication. And what do we have left? We have our 7. So just, oh, and we also have equals 19. So just to clarify, this plus this gave us our negative 1/5 b. If we look at that in a separate little problem, negative 3/5 plus 2/5. Remember, we don't add denominators. We just have to make sure they're common, and they are because they're the same. Now we just add together our numerators, and that's negative 3 plus 2, which gives us a negative 1. Same thing, negative 1/5 b right over here. Plus 7 equals 19. Well, now we have a two-step equation. So what do we do first? We minus 7 from both sides. This is just like what we did last week. Over 7 minus 9, or excuse me, 19 minus 7 is 12. 12 equals negative 1/5, oopsies, fifths b. Well, now what do we do? Now we multiply. Remember, we multiply each side by this negative 5. We're trying to get rid of that negative. Multiply this side by negative 5. So we get b equals negative 60, because 12 times negative 5 is 60. I'll just put those lines there in case you forget. All right, so we've done 2 problems. It's now your turn to try it. I'm going to read these off just in case. This is negative 3u plus 5 plus 7u equals 44. B is negative 5/7 b plus 3 plus 4/7 b equals 11. So go ahead and pause now and try those. Okay, so for A you should have gotten 13. For B you should have gotten a positive 56. So if you didn't get those, please go back and watch the videos and try them again. Example 3. We have 1/8 d minus 4 plus 3/8 d minus another 4. So now we have 2 kinds of like terms. Let's box them out. We have our 1/8 d. We have our positive 3/8 d. Now we're going to change colors. We're going to circle our negative 4 here and our negative 4 here. So this time we have to combine twice, not just once. So what is 1/8 d plus 3/8 d? Well, that's going to give us 4/8 d. And what is negative 4 minus 4? That's going to give us a negative 8. And remember, it equals 5. That stays the same. Okay, so now again we have a 2-step equation. What do we do first? We're going to add 8 to both sides. Remember, we add or subtract first. Add 8 to both sides. This cancels. We get 4 over 8d equals 5 plus 8 is going to give us a 13. All right, now this is where it's going to become a little bit new for some of you. What is 4/8 equivalent to? We can reduce this fraction. What can we do? Well, 4 is half of 8. We can reduce this to 1/2 d equals 13. So whenever we combine like terms, if we see that there's a fraction here that can be reduced, and I can give you a hint, one of them on the worksheet can be reduced to a whole number. This one here can be reduced to 1/2. Well, now it's simple. Now we just multiply each side by 2 to get our answer, right? Because that's our next step. So d equals 13 times 2 is 26. So after we combine like terms and we're working with fractions, we want to make sure that we simplify these to the simplest possible fraction we can get. Okay, so example 4. V minus 9/10 v plus 6 equals 11. So first things first, we want to box out our like terms. Well, let's count our v's. We have one whole v here, and right next to it we have a negative 9/10 v. There's no more like terms on this side of the equation or equal sign, right? There's just a positive 6. Well, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, this is a hard fraction subtraction because there's a v here and there's minus 9/10 v. Well, over here, I just want to make a little separate note. V is equal to 1v, right? So this v here is equal to 1v. It could also be equal to 10 over 10v, right? So 10 over 10 is 1v. This could also just be equal to plain v. So this right here can be equal to all of that. Well, now, if we rewrite this and we say, okay, this is 10 over 10v, we're going to subtract 9 over 10v, and we, of course, add that 6 and equals 11. These are our like terms. What's 10 over 10 minus 9 over 10? Well, that's just going to give us 1 over 10v plus 6 equals 11. So let's do this math problem. Remember, we combined 10 over 10 with 9 over 10 because 10 minus 9 is 1 We leave our denominators the same. Now we have a two-step equation. Right here we have a two-step equation. So we add or subtract first. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. This cancels. This becomes 1 over 10v equals 11 minus 6 is 5. Now our next step, we want to times both sides by 10, right? We times it by the denominator. This is what we learned last week. And v equals, what's 5 times 10? 50. All right. So last example is a word problem. And remember, all of these examples are just like ones on your worksheet, and this is actually copied right from your worksheet. So it says the sum of the measures of the four angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. Find the measure of the angle labeled x. So we want to find the measure here. The sum of all four of these angles, so this angle plus this angle plus this angle plus this angle, all equals 360. So we're going to write that out. We're going to solve for x. We have x plus 30, which is this angle here. So I'm just going to put a little cross out, plus x plus 3/5 x. And I'm just dashing these off as we go, plus 2/5 x. That's our last one. So I've added all four of these together, and that all equals 360 degrees. Running out of room, but oh, okay. So what are our like terms? Our like terms are x and a positive x and a positive 3/5 x and a positive 2/5 x. So let's add those together. We have 2 x's. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Let's add 3/5 x and 2/5 x. Well, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5/5 x just equals 1x. Oh my gosh, this is just x. So we have 1x plus another x. Well, that's just going to give us 3x. Then we have this 30. And we know all of them added up together equal 360 degrees. Now look what we have. Oh my goodness, we have a two-step equation. So we minus 30 from both sides. We get 3x equals 330 degrees. We divide both sides by 3. And we get x equals 110. 110 degrees. So that means this angle right here, the measure of that angle is 110 degrees, which would make this angle 110 plus 30, so this would be 140 degrees, this 2/5 of 110, this 3/5 of 110. But ultimately our final answer is right here, x equals 110 degrees. Now remember, this is going to have a star next to it on your worksheet. This is the same exact thing. So refer back to these notes when you do your worksheet. All right, here's the you try, so go ahead and give these a shot. I'm just going to say them out loud. It's 1/10 d minus 6 plus 4/10. Oh, that should have a d. D minus 6 equals 9. This is v minus 7/8 v plus 10 equals 13. So try these out. Pause. Check your answers in a second. So here's the answers. For C, your D equals 42, and for D, V equals 24. So make sure you got those right. If you didn't, go back and watch the example 3 and example 4 portion. Make sure you know examples 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, even this word problem, are all on your worksheet for your assignment tonight. So refer back to them when you're doing your assignment.